All right, traders, good afternoon. It's Robert Falco from Real Life Trading here with the man, the myth, the legend.
My name is Jerremy Newsome. I'm doing phenomenal.
He's much taller than me, but I think he's kind of shortened himself down there so that we're not, like twins from Arnold and what was his name? Joe Pesci or whatever. So we're here to talk to you about trading expectations when you first start trading. And why do you think it's so important, Jeremy?
I think it's important because a lot of traders get a wrong expectation based on simply what Wall Street is. Yes, it's one of the most competitive industries in the entire world. It's a place where you can make extreme gains very, very quickly. And they get an overall sense of hype through YouTube gurus. Okay, people who spend a lot of time promoting their own products, their own classes, and how much money you can make. Yes, it is possible to make a lot of money, but after you spend a lot of time in the process. And this guy, who is one of our millionaire traders at Real Life Trading, he's going to talk about some of our processes and procedures from where we started to where we are today.
Yeah, even if you start to watch some of those videos from the Mensa certified genius traders, it's definitely going to take some time. And you have to figure out really quickly, do you love trading or do you just love money? Or do you love both? Because both is obviously the key, right? I mean, we obviously trade to make money, to do great things for ourselves, our family, other people. But we also have to really enjoy trading. You have to be able to dream about candlesticks and really, really love it. And you have to have a really strong why. Why did you start trading? Why do you want to trade? Because when it does get tough, without a strong why that really pulls on your heartstrings, it's really, really easy to just give up. I put in, 2, 3, 4, 5 months. It's not working. I'm losing money. And why should I continue to pour money into this? It's just like any other skill. It takes time, energy, sometimes sweat and tears. I wouldn't say blood.
No, I've never bled.
hopefully not blood. But you have to have that really strong why so that when it is tough, you don't give up and quit.
Because it's going to get hard. There will be days, times, weeks, sometimes months, maybe even quarters that are challenging, and you're going to be sacrificing time away from your family. You're going to be sacrificing time away from your friends. That's with everything. Doesn't matter if it's a job, doesn't matter if it's a career, doesn't matter if you're a professional athlete or a professional chef. You're going to be taking time away from things to build your career. And if this is something that you love doing, it's better to be led and pulled by your dreams rather than pushed by your problems.
Wow, that's powerful. Powerful. Another powerful quote that I love to tell new traders on why they should start small and not focus on so much about making money, and they want to use a larger R or a risk unit, is because they have an amount of money that they want to make. But starting small and risking very, very tiny amounts, which is very, very doable nowadays with low commissions or no commissions often, especially if you live in the US. You can trade with one share. You can trade with a $10, a $20, a $50 R, even if your account is much, much larger, because you are literally the worst you are ever going to be at trading when you start. And it's not to discourage anyone, but you don't know what you don't know. And so there's no point in risking a bunch of money when you don't know what you're doing. The goal is to not make a bunch of money right away. It's about not losing a lot of money right away, because capital is like air or water. You can't trade without it. You can't live without air or water. And so capital is the number one thing you need to protect, probably outside of your mindset, I would say.
Yeah.
But one of the number one resources you need to protect. And when you're starting, you're the worst you're ever going to be. So start really, really small.
Yeah, it was a great quote because he said that earlier to me today. We were talking about it. I was like, man, that's such a great point, because when you start trading, what's the one thing that you want to do? Like, I want to make money to provide for my family. Everyone does, right? Everyone wants to make money to provide for your family. It's not easy to simply just take your money and triple it in 3 weeks. And if you do that, what's most likely going to happen, and I've seen it happen so many times, is it will eventually dissipate. It'll lose, it'll be gone, it'll go away, you'll give it back. So the simple fact of the matter is, you'll be the worst you ever are when you first start trading. He was awful, but wasn't nearly as bad as me. It wasn't great, but he was not as bad as me. I was horrible. I was the worst trader in the world. And you're going to continue to be bad for a while. You're not going to have consistency. You're not going to have consistent gains for about 6 months. You're going to kind of be up and down. You need to learn the process and really have very specific goals.
Yeah, one of the acronyms that I learned in corporate America, but I think it really applies to pretty much anything in life, is to make sure that you're setting SMART goals. So you want them to be specific. You want them to be attainable. You know, like Jeremy said, everyone wants to quit their job, buy a big house, buy their friends and family, you know, the new Tesla, you know, Plaid Model S, but that's probably not very attainable. You want them to be realistic. You want them to make sure that they're relevant. You want them to be time bound. So having that time frame of, you know, by 6 months, I want to be able to where I'm break even or I'm slowly making a profit each and every month, because it's not about each trade or each week. There's a really smart guy that once told me, you don't have to make money every day to make money every week, or you don't have to make money every day to make money every month. And over the course of a trading career, we're going to trade thousands and thousands of trades. So generally, you know, every once in a while you could have some massive winner. You shouldn't have a massive loser if you manage risk appropriately. But generally, over thousands and thousands of trades, one trade doesn't really matter all that much. So you have to be able to take your little slice of the pie out of the money that's just floating around out there every day in the market.
Yep, and that's going to be that's part of celebrating the process of this aspect. Because if you're watching this, you might be a brand new trader or just starting out. You're most likely 1 year into the whole process, because the market's going to be very exciting and very relevant for many, many traders with all the things that are going to be coming out in the future. So keep in mind, it's about celebrating the process, really understanding why it is that you're doing what you're doing, and have really, really specific intentionality with being okay to get stopped out, to have your trades entered, mastering the broker, right? Understanding the buttons, understanding the process, knowing your limits and your stops and your markets, and just being very, very fluid, because you're going to make one of those human mistakes. When you buy 1,000 shares and you're supposed to buy 100, or you sell 3,000 shares, you're supposed to sell 300. You're going to make some kind of crazy mistake. It will happen. Celebrate it when it does, exit the trade, take your win, take your loss, reevaluate, and make sure that you know what you're doing. And this is the time to learn by losing small.
Yeah, you definitely don't want to be figuring out how to enter a stop loss in your broker when you're risking $1,000 R or anything crazy. Unless your account's like $10 million and $1,000 is, you know, really, really tiny, but then you're not probably watching this video. You're probably hiring this guy to come live with you for a month and put you through the trading boot camp. But yeah, you don't want to be figuring out your broker when you got a lot of money out there. That should be something that you're either figuring out on paper or with a very, very tiny share size, whether it's even just one share or a small dollar amount as an R. And then putting in the time, it's just like anything else. We don't sit in front of the computer and trade all day long. But we do spend a lot of time watching charts, seeing how candlesticks form, getting the feel for the current direction of the market. If it is choppy, we might swing trade more than day trade so that we don't get whipsawed out. If there's a lot of volatility, we might look at, you know, selling options. So we spend a lot of time getting a feel for what the market's doing right now or what it's going to do in the short-term future. You know, investing long-term, that's fairly easy unless you're being too wild with what you're investing in. But, you know, we know certain companies just aren't going to go away anytime soon, or investing in the overall market. That stuff's easy. But spending the time, like 10,000 hours, the mastery probably, as far as watching charts and candles form.
So be honest with me. Tell me, like, how long do you think over the last 4 years?
I mean, I think I've watched every video that Jeremy's ever made. I have literally, and I hope he doesn't take this the wrong way, I think I've fallen asleep to Jeremy's voice probably like 300 days over the last, 4 years. But gosh, you figure a full-time job is about 2,080 hours. And if I've been trading for 4 years and then additional, weekend time, everything else, just as far as learning, studying, watching, probably easily 10,000, maybe 12,000 hours.
And you're consistently profitable now.
Yeah, but it takes time. It's not something. The first conversation I had with Jeremy over the phone, I remember saying like, "Hey, in 6 months, I'm going to be able to do this and make like 5-6 Rs every single month." And you might be able to do it once or twice, but on a consistent basis, definitely not. I mean, the market goes through cycles that you just don't get to see in 6 weeks or 12 weeks or even 6 months sometimes.
Yeah. And those cycles are going to happen. And if you love trading, to go back to what you mentioned earlier, it's okay to love money. And it's okay to love trading, but you have to love trading because there's a lot of other easier ways to make money. This whole trading aspect is something that you need to love, you need to dream about. As Robert said, you need to be thinking about this constantly. Which stocks are going to do what, why they're going to do it, where they're going to do it, because that's going to help pull you over the bad times, pull you over the times that you're frustrated, scared, and annoyed and upset. And then, of course, pull you past those account milestones. Because the account milestones, they're important to have. And I simply say don't put a massive hurdle on yourself of when you're going to hit it, but just know that it can be hit. Give yourself some time frames, give yourself some timelines. But for a lot of traders, getting that $25,000 mark, that's huge. Okay, once you go from 25,000 liquid cash, 100,000 is your next mark. That can take 2 or 3 years. I know you might not want to hear that, but that's just realistic. Yeah. Okay. Now, once you have 9 years of experience doing this, it's easier to turn 25,000 into 100,000. I can do it in like 2 or 3 months if I really, really want to. But that time frame, it took 9 years to get that experience level to know which options I need to buy, when I need to buy them, how much, and what leverage I need to put on it. Okay. But getting that 25 to 100,000, if that's where you're at for that account size, it's going to take about 3 to 4 years. And then 100 to 500,000, going to be about the same, right? That 3 to 4 year mark. And then 500 to, of course, the big number that everyone wants to hit, that double comma, dose comma club, right? Which we're both a part of. When you hit that $1 million, mark, it's a great celebratory moment. It's exciting, but at the same time, it's going to take a while, especially if you start with a smaller.
Yeah, and it's one of those things that, unfortunately, trading is one of those things to where, and investing, is the more money you have, the easier it is to make additional money because you have so many more strategies and options available to you that you can make money. You can make small amounts of money like 99.9% of the time, kind of like insurance salesmen and things like that. There's just a lot of different strategies that are available to you, but don't feel like you have to get there tomorrow. As Jeremy said earlier, everybody wants to double their money. And if everyone could do it, then,
everyone would.
Yeah, everybody would, but it's not that easy. And if you are able to do that really, really fast, oftentimes it will go away just as fast as it came because you don't really know how you got there. You don't have rules. You don't have a written plan in place. You're just kind of gunslinging out there doing whatever you feel like. And that risk management is so, so important. So I think that's probably it from an expectation standpoint. If you do have any other questions for us, make sure to comment down below on YouTube. Give us that follow, give us that subscription on YouTube, and then check us out at reallifetrading.com. And as always,
love life, live life, and trade it. You absolutely rock. Thanks for watching this video.